everybody, welcome back to Projects of Z. Today we'll be working on this here 99 GMC Yukon that I've had since 2012. We are replacing the driver's side upper ball joint, and it has not been replaced the whole time I have owned it. All the other three have, except for that one. So stay tuned. I'm going to grab the jack stands and get some tools together, and we'll get this underway. So before we get to work taking the tire and everything off, I'm going to show you how bad this ball joint actually is. I don't know if you can hear that, but it moves in and out probably about a ½ inch each direction. I'm going to get the lug nuts broke free, get up in the air, and we will dig into this. The sound you're hearing in the background are a bunch of planes flying around because I live right close to an airport. Alright, so we got the truck up on jack stands, tire off. Let's see if I can show you a better view of how bad this ball joint is. It was about to come out. Glad I'm doing this now. I'm gonna get some more tools together and we'll start tearing this down. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna take off the brake caliper to give us a little bit more room to get back there at the ball joint nut. I wish I could find my socket for this, but I've misplaced it. So we're just gonna use a good old fashioned Allen wrench. There we go. Took me a minute to figure it out, but yes, this is a it's a 3/8 Allen wrench. GM likes to use these for their brake calipers, but it'll work. We'll get it done. She's on there pretty tight. There we go. Brake pads look pretty good still. And we'll just set that up there so it's not just hanging on the brake line. Pop this off, and we've got more room to work up and behind here. So let me get the ball joint nut broken free down here, and we'll be right back. So I don't have the right size wrench for this, so we're going to use this other wrench that I found with my stash of tools. Oh. That didn't feel good. Give it back. So after a little bit of a struggle, we got it loose. So we'll take this nut off. Set that off to the side. Spare part, or has to go back in. Not sure. We'll find out. And then we are going to get this ball joint out of the knuckle. And how we're going to do that is this big hammer. We're just going to sit here and wail on it for a while until it comes out. Usually works pretty quickly. Huh. She's not wanting to let go right now. Let's put some weight on it. And we'll continue to smack it. Get a pry bar up in there, maybe that'll help force it out of there. Convince it to come out a little bit. There it goes. Hit my head a little bit there. Be alright. So yeah, not sure if you can really see this. Boot's broken, and it's got quite a bit of wiggle room. So this next part's gonna be a little bit loud, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do, explain what I'm gonna do, and then I will try and see if I can record it all and just speed it up so it doesn't take forever. If you guys know any editing apps or programs for a computer, let me know down in the comments. Might make my life a little bit easier. First time ever editing videos. Thanks. So what we're gonna have to do now is we'll remove this nut right here. Luckily there's only a nut and bolt right here holding this portion of the ball joint on, but these three spots right here, those are all rivets. They riveted them to the upper control arm, and it makes a little bit of a pain to get it off. So we'll take a grinder wheel, grind down the heads of these, get this out of here, take this off, get that out of there, and we're gonna have to get a hammer and a punch to punch these through the control arm because they are pretty tight in there. Stay tuned. We'll see if we can get it done. Well, here we go. Went and got the grinder, got the cutoff wheel on there, and we are gonna cut down these rivet heads real quick. that was pretty easy. Now here comes the even more fun part. Finding where the rivet heads were. Come on, focus. And then punching them through. This could take a little while. I'm gonna try and do the same thing. Speeding up the film and everything. Stay tuned. So, next step, like I already said, is we're gonna use a punch and a hammer to punch those rivets out of the upper control arm and the ball joint. Went and found a punch. Got some pliers to hold the punch so I don't smash my hand. And we'll continue using the big hammer. Let's see if we can get this out. So I'll show pulling one of them out, and I'll speed it up if it takes too long. But you just sit here, put it on there, and wail on it. Could take quite a while. The other pliers I was going to use, they're broken. So I'm using these ones. Might have to go get a different pair. Let's go get a different pair. Alright, found my other pair of pliers. Let's continue on. And we have made no progress. I'll be back. Might have to figure out a different way to get this out. Last time I did this, I used an air hammer and a punch on the end of that, and it came right out. But this is going to take a little bit longer. So that isn't working as well as I thought it was going to. So we're going to try a different route, different method now. We're going to take this off. It's a 13 millimeter. We're gonna pop this out. We're gonna try and get a pry bar up in between the upper control arm and the ball joint and pry it off, and then hit the rivet heads through that way. Don't know how well it's gonna work or if it's even gonna work, but it's worth a shot. So, we'll do that here. Got that out. Slide this over, out the way. It's already broken. As you can see right there. That's from it rubbing up underneath between the ball joint and the spindle. I called it a knuckle earlier. That was my fault. But yeah. This is what we're going to try now. That doesn't seem to be working either. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. I need to go charge my phone, which I am recording with because it just gave me a 15% warning. So stay tuned. I'm going to soak this in some PB Blaster, hopefully getting the rivets to loosen up a little bit. And then after a while, I'll come back out and keep trying. Alright, so went in, took a little bit of a break. Soaked these down with some PB Blaster and some other stuff called Freeze Off, super penetrant. Seemed to work pretty well. I am finally making some progress. I decided to drill into the rivet to try and weaken it up some, so that way I'll start to slide out of the ball joint and the upper control arm. And it seemed to work. Here's what it looks like. So I'm not really sure if you can tell, but if you look right here, see a little ridge right there? The rivet's starting to come out very slowly. This one's really coming out. But the whole ball joint is lifted up on this side from the control arm. Not this side though. So I'm going to keep on wailing away at this with a hammer and a punch, and I hope that I can get this done before the sun goes down. But it's getting there. So just to show the force I'm having to hit these with, I have already bent this punch. It's not a very big punch, but still, it's metal. But this is about how it's been. And then the punch gets stuck and you gotta convince it to come back out. It's got a little tiny bit of a bend in there. That used to be flat, and that's not as flat as it used to be either. But it's all making progress, and I'm running out of daylight. This video might have to continue tomorrow. I'll let you know. So, sorry, kicked the camera. We may be able to get up underneath the ball joint now and pop it off with a pry bar. Pull that out of there real quick. And hope that none of the rivets break. Oh, we got something. We got some movement. It's coming out. Oh, that didn't sound good. It's coming out. But then, the new thing, so ball joint's out. Cool. Now we just have to get the rivets out of the upper control arm. If you can see them, sorry, hand was in the way. See, the ball joints no longer connected, but we still have these rivets that are fighting. So I'm gonna take this out, see if I can continue hitting with. Yeah, the boot just fell off as I pulled it off. There's no grease left in there. This thing was done. Good thing I did it when I did. But like I was saying, we're gonna continue trying to hit these rivets out. I might get the drill bit out again and continue drilling on through them. That seems to be helping them move. We got mosquitoes. Thought it was too cold for those, but guess not. But we'll be using this cobalt tipped drill bit. Come on, focus. Focus. There. Seems to be cutting through these rivets pretty well. So I'm going to keep on going with this. I will update you when I get these out. Well, since the last part of the video, we have not made much progress. And as you can probably tell, it's getting dark. Let me turn the light on. So, this is what we're stuck with still. The rivets are still stuck in the upper control arm. But we got the bad ball joint out. So, tomorrow morning, I'll come out, start drilling some more, start hammering some more, and we'll get that upper ball joint in tomorrow. Well, everyone, I know I said I was going to be done for the evening because it was getting dark, but I decided to give it one last go and get these rivets out. And here they are. All three are out. Get back here. All three are out. So, what that means is now I'm done for the evening. Tomorrow morning, I'll come out, slap the new ball joint in there. They revised it, so instead of getting riveted in with 3 rivets, you bolt it in with 4 nuts and bolts. And then I'll connect it back to the knuckle, spindle, put it all back together, and we'll be done. Well, it is the next day now, and we have just a little bit more work to do. Sorry about the wind. I don't know how loud it is in the video, but I'll find out here shortly. So, as you can see last night, this is the bad ball joint. Here we have the brand new one that I've had since 2013, just sitting in the floorboard of the truck. But it's finally going in. We got all the new hardware right here in this bag. We have to reuse the giant nut, but as I showed you last night, I got all the rivets out. There are some things I would have done different. I'll explain that after I get it put back together. But let's get this going and put all back together, and we'll finish up this video. Alright, here we go. So you just take the new ball joint, slide it back a little bit, and then slide it forward. Throw that in there. You get your hardware here. 13mm bolt head and nut. Just get a couple of them started in there. Start this one. And then this one, don't forget this little bracket to install back on there. Tying it down. This one doesn't want to go for some reason. There you go. Alright, now you grab your 13mm socket and wrench, and we throw it in. Tighten everything down. Get it good and tight in there. And the last one. Alright, so that's that. Got the 4 bolts installed, and I'm going to tell you something that I would have done differently when I was taking the old one off. If you don't have this style already on your truck, this is way easier, but the way mine was set up with the rivets in there, I would not have act like this is the rivet head like I showed earlier in the video. I would not have ground those off until I started drilling down so you can find the dead center and drill down the middle, because if you start getting into the actual upper control arm, then you're going to damage it and the bolts aren't going to fit snugly in there, and you probably have to buy a new one. So luckily I didn't miss where the rivet was when I started drilling because I ground the tops off of them, and it kind of helped that the ball joint was still in here. But that's what I would have done different. Drill down probably a good half an inch, quarter of an inch, just so you can start getting stuff to move. And then once you get down past like where the ball joint would be, then you can take a chisel and hammer that rivet head off, and then continue drilling down, and then use a punch. So I used 3 different punches. I went from a big one to a medium-sized one to a small one, and the small one allowed the metal on the inside of the control arm, allowed the metal that the rivet is to get weaker and start to compress in when you hit it down with the hammer and the punch, so that way it just came right out. So as you can see, I drilled down pretty far into these just to be able to get it to start letting loose and come out. I'm glad it came out as easy as it did, and I wish I would have done it earlier. Then this video would have been done yesterday. But it's whatever. Learning process. I don't have the tools I used last time. So we'll continue getting this in, and we'll record that. Alright, so we're going to get this all put back together for you. To pump the jack up some to get the lower to go up into the upper. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate, but we'll get it. Get that in there. Get the new nut on there. Or it's not new, it's still the old one. Oh, one thing you might want to do, if you can, to make it easier, when you're going to cotter pin it, see if you can spin this. Mine's not going to spin. Of course. See if I can get something to stick in there. Spin it. Ooh, super tight. Come on. All right. So spin that so it's facing forward and aft, and that'll make it easier to get the cotter pin in there after you get the nut on there and tighten down. So we'll pick this back up, throw that back in there, and we'll get this in. So I'm not sure where I got this wrench from, but I don't have the correct size wrench. So this goes from a 7/8 to a 1 1/4, just from that little tab sticking out. This is what I used to take it apart yesterday. I'm gonna use it to put it back together today. come back when it's done. Alright, so we got the nut on there. Got the castles lined up with the cotter keyholes so we can get that put in. And then we'll put the zert fitting on top for the grease. And we'll continue reassembling. So I got the cotter key installed. We'll put the zert fitting on here real quick. It literally just screws right into the opening that they got up on top. Then you grab, you can grab the right size socket or whatever you need, but I'm not going to search through all my sockets, so I'll just grab on and put it on with these channel locks without messing it up. Maybe. Alright, that's on there. Let's get this brake installed. Scoot you back here. I'll get the rotor. Throw it up on there. A little bit of rust coming out. Whatever. Sorry, I had a phone call come in. Hopefully they didn't mess up the video. But continue on. Grab the Allen wrench we need to throw the caliper back in. So these calipers might need replacing fairly soon. These I'm pretty sure are original to the truck, so could probably use a. Oh, come on! This is where you live. There you go. There we go. All right. So we'll get this all tightened down, and we'll get the wheel back on. And we're gonna start it up. Move it back and forth a couple times in the driveway. Make sure it doesn't fall apart. And we'll get it started up so y'all can hear this. I haven't started any of my vehicles for y'all. This has got a true dual. Pretty sure it's a 2.5-inch pipe going into two MagnaFlows. Not sure which ones they are. They were on here when I bought the truck. But it's got a pretty good deep sound to it. The only thing I did to it was divert. I rerouted one of the pipes out the driver's side because they were both coming out the passenger side. So that's all I've done. But we'll get a good startup video and get it moved back and forth in the driveway and see how it does. Alright, here we go. Caliper is installed. Ball joint installed. All hardware tight. Zero fitting tight. I don't have a grease gun. Thought I did. So I'm going to have to do that at a later date. Along with what I'm sure everybody's probably already seen, this broken wire. The wheel speed sensor is broken. But I'll be getting in here very shortly. One of the next videos is going to be replacing the shock bushings. This moves a lot. Makes a lot of noise driving down the road. But that's for a different video. So we're just going to attach these clips to the upper control arm for the broken wheel speed sensor. It'll be alright. Speedometer still works. Don't know how long it's been like that. But still going strong. gotta get it around. Oh, not even holding the camera in the right spot. There we go. That's in there. And we're gonna get the tire on. We'll get this thing started up and moved around a little bit. All right, get this installed. These tires are not light, by the way. Yes, you might watch me struggle a little bit. Get her up here. Maybe not. Alright, we'll run them down with the impact, and then we will check them again once we get on the ground with regular old socket. Get back. Well, come on. Alright. We'll drop down, we'll get it on there with the socket. Make sure everything's good. Oh, and remember before when I would check the tire in and out on top? The only thing that's moving now is the truck. That thing was done. Glad we got it done now. Might help if I take the jack stand out from underneath the truck. Jack cut the part. Well, not really. Down real quick. Again, sorry about the wind. Hopefully it's not too loud in the videos. Alright, there we go. We'll get our mess cleaned up, put everything back up. We'll start her up, move her back to the end of the driveway and back a couple times, make sure it's good, but pretty sure it's good. Alright, go. She's all put back together. Back on the ground. Everything seems to be tight. Let's start her up so y'all can hear and move her back and forth a couple times. Thank you for checking out thanks for watching my video. I will try and get this up as soon as possible. The next video is either going to be on a 2020 Civic Si or another video on this, changing out the shock bushings. If you guys got anything else you want to see, let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.